Welcome everyone to a new update, and today we'll cover everything you need to know about the current price action of Bitcoin as we are seeing a ton of volatility. But in this update we'll dive into the perspectives of Cardano mostly, as that is what is also getting some hype, and that's why the video is relatively shorter. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe and like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content, and if you also like what we do. We also have a trade letter with the latest altcoin setups, market information, market analysis and more. You can try it for free for 1 week and the link can be found in the description beneath. And tomorrow it is altcoin day. The same goes for our premium membership, which covers my personal trades, trade IDs and more. This can also be tested for 1 week for free, and the past few days we have been killing the trades. As we have been discussing Ethereum a lot with the upcoming merge, we also know that Cardano has a fork coming up scheduled in September. Does that mean that it's a good investment thesis right now? That is the question. Does it mean that you should be holding it, or what is actually the expectation for Cardano going forward? That is also the question of this update. Next to that, the markets have been correcting down heavily and as a result gave a ton of volatility. In the video from tomorrow, we'll be discussing everything surrounding Powell's speech, the ECB interest rates and the responses on the markets for crypto and the dollar. Next week we are going to dive into Cardano and the Vasil Hard Fork, but today we'll make a slight introduction into Cardano's world and the coming week's perspectives and whether or not you should be interested in this one. Cardano is one of the largest projects out there, which is essentially founded by Charles Hoskinson and carries a large community all around the world. In that way, the technology is still getting developed just like Ethereum, and the next big thing will be the Vasil Hard Fork, which originally got delayed from June towards September. On the 2nd of September, developers have mentioned that the Vasil Hard Fork will take place on the 22nd of September, resulting into momentum on the markets. Due to the fork, it will enable developers to create more efficient dApps on Cardano, which is through the Plutus upgrade, Cardano's smart contract development platform. This would open the gates towards a larger TVL in the system and the opportunities for developers to really start building on Cardano instead of all the blockchains. As a comparison, the TVL of Cardano is currently less than 100 million, while the TVL on Polygon is currently sitting at 1.7 billion. Now we are getting towards the important part, and this is quite similar to the Ethereum video from 2 days ago, in which we mentioned the case of a buy the rumor sell the news concept. This concept is quite often seen through bull cycles in which hype is getting built up towards an actual event and then a huge sell-off or correction takes place, resulting into prices dropping quite heavy and going back to where it started, which is before the actual hype. In both of these cases, Cardano, Vasil Hard Fork and Ethereum merge, we might be getting a slight sell-off taking place on the day itself. However, as we've had the exact same case with Ethereum a few days ago on the day of the Paris upgrade, the prices immediately bounced back, continuing the strength. Why do we actually see such a strength? Well, these two events are long-term definitely needed for the ecosystem to continue building, and therefore they are very important to build. And they are very important to have in your investment portfolio, to start building your investing portfolio. If you're looking at the valuations of the markets and the current price levels, Cardano is down 85% since the all-time high, but maybe fundamentally even worth more than it was during peak in 2021. That says enough about the investment thesis you should have. Let's dive into the charts. So when we're looking at the markets overall, we can see that Cardano has been correcting quite substantially. The markets for Cardano have been dropping down approximately 85% since the peak all-time high in 2021. And as I concluded in the previous part, it might even be fundamentally stronger given that we've got these upgrades here and that the adoption might be growing instead of over here. So the valuation right now is 85% low in terms of prices. But fundamentally the valuation might be higher than when we saw this bull run here, which could conclude that it could be a big gap between fundamental and prices, and therefore interesting for your investment thesis if you like Cardano. Now, when we're looking at the lower time frames, we can see that we've got this entire block at 35 cents, but we also got the previous run from 2018 currently resting as support there, and we have been testing the support quite often. We also know that we've got lower highs and lower lows in which we are currently slamming the support quite often, and therefore it's important to crack the trend if we want something. So we've got the unclosed gap, we've closed this unclosed gap, and we've got some first resistances and support levels in between right now. So if I watch this chart based from the investment thesis, it's down 85%, and therefore it is probably interesting for your portfolio to build from here, although everyone is assuming that we are going to crash even more. When we're looking at this, when we want to trade Cardano, we can definitely say that there are some perspectives, yeah? So we are at this point retesting the block around 43 cents. We are making a flip at 45 and 44 cents. And as long as that holds, we can continue moving, and the first resistance is 54. However, once we crack or get towards that part, we've got the 50-day MA kicking in again. We tried to break through it in the last run, and the 50-day is usually a key signal for continuation, as we can see in the previous bull runs. So we have to watch whether we can flip it again, and in that way you should be holding 44 cents, otherwise we are going to test this block around 34 to 35 and Bitcoin is going to drop lower too. But if we flip above 50 cents and get towards 54, we are flipping the 50-day MA again for support, and that is going to be a trigger, probably towards 75 and maybe even towards a buck from here. So these are the levels that I'm watching on the USDT pair. Let's have a slight look at Bitcoin at this point, as Bitcoin is currently still consolidating after a nuke earlier this week. And I stated before, and we might actually have been seeing the crack already during this update, but we are in support, and this is following the scenario. We are getting into the stage where you want to be longing a Bitcoin as a whole, okay? So this is what you want to see, but you clearly want to see it break above the area of 19.4, 19.5, and preferably even a little bit higher at 19.8, as that grants you continuation or grants you confirmation that we're actually going to reverse this trend. And that is also what you want to see when it comes to the DXY index, is that this one starts to fall down. And when we're looking at the weekly time frame, we are on the edge of having that reversal, as we have been saying in the previous weeks, that September is going to be crucial. Let's get towards the conclusion of this update. Thank you very much for watching this update on YouTube regarding Cardano. I hope I've given you a slight insight into Cardano on the TA, but also on the FA with the Vasil Hard Fork coming up. And next week we'll be doing a deep dive into the actual technology and why it's important for the Cardano ecosystem. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this YouTube update if you enjoy the content. Check out the trade letter and the premium membership if you want to improve yourself as a trader. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next update regarding the latest news on the ECB and Powell. Ciao!